I want to go back just quickly and then, well, not quickly. I want to go back to one more thing and then I want to just have like a quick summary. But I want to go back to emotional eating. And like that was the first thing that you said, and it's one of the first things that I thought of, which is, you know, eating your feelings. And you kind of talked about emotions being...
When you say eating your feelings, it's like that whole thing of like eating junk food.
Yeah. You were saying emotion...
No, but that whole... People that like literally obese
feelings.
and have addiction, that's how they deal with it. Like,
yeah, and I would have...
Did you go there as well?
Yeah. And I always kind of, you know, I think... I'm an emotional eater. Like, I think that food is love, and I always have.
Food. Food is love.
The reason why I am as big as I am is because when I was very, very young, you know, the one thing that was really consistent is that there was always food. Like, my parents might be really mad, or not here, and or really busy, but that chocolate bar, he's got my back. And I kind of, I have like a really... my emotions, I feel, are very much entangled with food. And we've had a conversation. I had a conversation with my mum about it recently, whereby, you know, food is, you came together for meals because you had to eat, and it would be probably the one time that you might see them together and or talking and stuff. But then obviously, you know, at times a really negative relationship with food. So what do you think about that in terms of swallow your emotions?
As in what now?
Well, you know, because I just found it really interesting that you were like, immediately off the bat, you were kind of talking about food as nutrition. Food can be good for you. Like, junk food is bad for you and you have bad emotions, but you still need it as part of like a balanced diet and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying that. I said junk food isn't as nourishing.
Yeah.
And again, I think there are some emotions in certain times you can feel certain emotions and they're more damaging than they are nourishing. Yeah,
like a negative effect on you and your body.
I do think that it's really important that people steer away from this idea of negative emotions or bad emotions or good emotions. And I think it's that thing of like...
they're emotions.
Like, fire isn't a bad thing. It's just fire. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your house is on fire... that sucks, but also if you don't have heat, you're gonna freeze, like, sort of thing, you know, like, it's how you use it's like how you use it. Like, anger, for example, people see that as a negative emotion, and I always use this with my young people, which it tends to backfire more and more, and then I have to go into who he is. But I often say, like, Martin Luther King, extremely angry, did amazing things with that anger. Like, if he didn't have that anger, there's no way he would have achieved the things that he achieved. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're like, who's Martin Luther King?
You are joking.
I work with 11, 12.
Yeah, but still. Like, I feel
like they're going to go into it a bit. Yeah, so I think like that's damaging. The idea that there's a few back again. I know we've already talked about it, but the whole artist thing, and you need to have trouble with your emotions in order to be an artist and express emotions and stuff. Rubbish. You don't. You can be a really happy person and create art and write songs, and it's cool. Like, it's fine. You don't have to be suicidally depressed to write a sad song or create a piece of art that is sad.
What you're talking about really is success and what success is.
This idea of like authenticity, like, how dare this person write a song that's about being extremely sad when they're a white male middle class person? How dare they? And I'm like, I listen to emo music, all of them, and I loved everything of it. Like, and I think it's just that kind of thing that's annoying. But it's this idea of like thinking that emotions are something that can be measured, thinking that someone's emotion's more valid than somebody else's emotion, thinking that some people should only have certain emotions at certain times. This whole idea of like feeling like emotions are something that you can subscribe to. Like, they're not. They're
live, laugh, love.
And that sort of stuff, they annoy me. All of that sort of stuff is just... because it implies that that's what you should be aiming. You should just be aiming to laugh and love.
Just live, laugh, and love.
I just like it's
Yeah.
just it frustrates me.
Are you mad? You can't be frustrated.
It frustrates me.
No, look,
There's
the wall told you to laugh, Laura.
But this is the thing
Jesus.
as well, and I think like in order, and it's not about feeling sad is not a bad thing. If you're sad about something, it means that you care. So rather than avoiding your emotions, you should almost treat them like a compass. They help direct you to where you want to be. If you listen to a song and it makes you feel something, and it makes you feel not necessarily at peace, because you can listen to a song and it can make you feel sad or whatever, but if you feel something and you enjoy it or whatever, cool. Like, that's good. Let's keep listening to that music. Like, if you eat a certain food and it makes you feel good, continue to eat that food. Like, what?
Well, no, because that can be really bad for you.
No, what I'm saying is
Continue. Keep going.
No, I'm just
Have
saying,
you
like,
seen that guy in Seven, the film, the gluttony
Gluttony
guy?
guy?
Yeah, that's what I think of when you say keep doing
No,
that.
I'm just saying, what if like making art is something that you enjoy doing, do it. If building cars or fixing things makes you feel happy, do it. If you had a person in your life and then they went away and you felt sad, that means you care about that person. You miss them. You want them in your life. Communicate that to that person. They might go, tough, you're weird and I want to go away. But at least you've communicated to that person, this is how I feel. Like, so
Chances are, if they've gone,
not necessarily.
Well, no,
it could just be
maybe a
because you're
little
not telling them
yeah,
how
because
you
you
feel.
haven't. Sorry, it's too late now. I'm here
Well,
emotionally
whatever,
in
but
this place.
I just like I think if you hide your emotions, if you bury them, if you don't acknowledge them,
your emotions. Yeah.
if you don't, then you start to. You're not gonna have an idea of what you're about or what you like to do, because they literally are the things that indicate what you care about, what you don't care about, and what you want, and how you think and feel about things. So yeah, that. I just don't think is a good idea to avoid them.
No, I mean, like with you and me, with you and I feel like that's when things are not great. So I'm not communicating those ideas.
Again, though,
sometimes that's because we don't know how we feel.
I was gonna say, and again, it's that thing is everything in moderation.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll be in a situation, and you'll feel nothing, or you'll feel a mess of things. And so you can't have a conversation with somebody about how you feel, or even, right, you feel very strongly about something in that moment, but you're fully aware that there have been other times where you have felt this strongly and it will subside. Chances are it will subside. So you don't want to communicate, actually, I'm terrified of this.
So rude. I'm sure I can. I'm guessing that I can swear. I'm sure I'll find out.
But like, yeah, I'm like, in your head, you're like terrified. If someone says, I love you, right? And your immediate response is, that's terrifying.
No, that's nice. I'm scared. Yeah.
Probably maybe don't communicate that then, unless like you think that that's going to be how you're going to feel for a long time. Because the thing is as well, there are people like Ken who genuinely think if you communicate that, that's how you're going to feel all the time. Like, how many times have you been in that relationship with someone and they've gone, I love you, and then you're not there yet, but you think that you might be?
Laura Hancock, I'm always the person that says I love you first. And I was about to counter you in this whole like thought train with me saying I'm an emotional person, but more so I feel like I communicate my emotions and how I feel. Usually I'm too open, or I'm open, and therefore I'm more open to, susceptible to being hurt and or.
I think though sometimes you'll communicate an emotion, but it's not actually how you're going to feel in the long run. So like sometimes you communicate.
Oh, I communicated. I want to marry you, and I'm here.
No. I mean, like you'll say like, I feel this way about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna give her a day. Because I don't think that's how she feels about it. Or at least I don't think that's how she's going to feel about this in the long run.
For the long term.
Yeah. And whereas...
I really want to know. I want an example.
I can't give you an example now.
I know. It's so frustrating. I want to think what you think.
But whereas with me, I tend to... Because also as well, And I don't know if it's a byproduct of someone that's had a lot of counselling and therapy and whatnot. But if I feel an emotion, I like to know, and I don't do this with everything. Like, there's not enough hours in the day to do this with everything. But if it's an important emotion, if it's about a relationship that I care about, if it's about a choice that I'm going to make that will have an impact on my life, and I have a knee-jerk response to it. Sorry, I will dissect that, and then I'll put that to bed then for the day, and I might revisit it the next day, and I'll go for a few days. Sometimes I'll go a week, and I'll reevaluate. And sometimes that knee-jerk default response is not the correct response. That's not how I feel. And so I don't communicate how I feel about a situation until like a week later, because I'm comfortable that is actually how I feel about that. And sometimes as well.
Oh yeah, I think I've done that. I have the capacity to do that.
Whereas I think with you, you're more expressive. It's not that you feel more or you're more emotional. You express them more. You say them more.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, trust me, and I've had to say it so many times to people, I have loads of emotions. People don't believe me. I'm like, trust me, I have loads. And I feel that they feel quite intense for me. Obviously, I don't know, because I don't know how other people feel emotions. But sometimes I feel they almost feel like they're consuming, in that I can't feel anything else, kind of thing. You know, that can kind of happen. So I need to be very, very careful with them. I need to be mindful of them, and I need to evaluate them and check before I express them and stuff, you know?